my channel, I'm Nisi. Guys, we are finally here to react to Taylor Swift Long Pond studio sessions, and I'm so excited for this. You guys know how special Folklore is to us in this channel. It was my very first time ever listening to a Taylor Swift album, and it transformed me from a Taylor Swift skeptic, hater, whatever the heck you want to call it. Y'all were so mad at me that I was apprehensive about listening to her music at first. I was just speaking my truth, but I am a different woman, okay? I'm a different woman than who I was when I started that video, okay? I don't remember how long that video was, but you guys saw in real time my mind like slowly changing. I think that Folklore might actually still be my favorite album that I've ever heard from her, but that's not saying a lot because we still have a lot of her albums that we have to get into. I feel like we have barely scratched the surface when it comes to her discography, to be honest. And now that all these other artists have stopped releasing albums back to back, we can finally take the time to get into them. So after this reaction, I'm actually gonna be posting a poll very soon asking you guys what is the next Taylor Swift album that we're gonna be getting into, and you guys are gonna vote on the next one. So make sure that you look out for that. But in the meantime, for today, we have the Long Pond studio sessions, which I imagine is just gonna be Taylor basically performing her songs from Folklore and probably giving us some more context on the songs and the album as a whole, which I am very excited for, because I have learned that there's one thing that you need when you listen to this woman, when you listen to Miss Taylor Swift. It's some damn context. So I'm excited, so I say let's just go ahead and just jump right in. If you want to see this video in full, uncut, because I know YouTube is going to drag me for this video. I don't even know if it's gonna be able to stay up. I have no idea. So if you want to see this in full, uncut, you can watch this video on my Patreon, and the link is in the description. All right, you guys, here we go. Diving back into Taylor Swift Folklore Long Pond studio sessions. Let's do this. Ooh. It's like the album cover aesthetic, like the black and white woods. Okay, set the scene. Ooh, and then it fades into color. That gives like Evermore. Folklore is like the black and white woods type thing, and Evermore is like the autumn colors. 2020 with a heck of a year. A heck of a year.
Okay, so it is 8:30 in the morning. And why am I awake, you ask? I sort of unexpectedly started writing the new album. And at that point I was just like, oh, I'm just writing songs in quarantine. And then it just became an album really quickly. We've built a home studio in my house.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, I'm gonna do vocals today in my house. I'm very excited about it.
Just like on the couch. Oh guys, I love getting like this footage, just like so personal. On July 24, 2020, Taylor Swift surprise released Folklore, her 8th studio album. I missed the era, I'm so sorry. During the COVID-19 lockdown, the musicians recorded separately miles apart while the album was created at Long Pond Studio. Oh, it is a very long pond. Taylor and her collaborators were never able to play the album together until now. Oh, wow. Oh, that's so special. They never even played it together.
First day we've been in the same room.
When lockdown happened, I just found myself completely listless and purposeless. And I texted you and I was like, hey, would you ever want to work? Are you in that place right now?
And I was like, I don't know if this is a real text. I'm not sure.
I didn't even tell my label until a week before we put it out.
What was that call like?
It was amazing. My label was like, whatever you want to make, like, we're down.
You ready to play this whole thing?
Yeah, no, I think it's really important that we play it. I think it will take that for me to realize that it's a real album.
That's just so crazy to me. Like, because she's just, I don't know how she does what she does. She just has like all these, re-recordings coming out, and then she's also like on tour, and then she's also at all these football games, and then suddenly just like Tortured Poets Department is just like coming out, and I'm just like, when did she write these songs? It kind of feels like, listening to what she's saying now, that sometimes it just comes to her just so spontaneously, to the point where like she's telling her label that it's happening a week before it even comes out, like that it just comes to her. And like, I guess when creativity strikes, you just follow down that path. It's just so crazy to me that she just like, it just comes out of nowhere. It's like, it's no planning, let's just do this.
If we're going to have to recalibrate everything, we should start with what we love the most first. And I think that was
wow,
what we were sort of unconsciously doing with this.
If everything's gonna fall apart, then make a record.
And I was so glad that we did,
Yes.
because it turned out that like everybody needed a good cry as well as us.
I didn't get the opportunity to have this at the time. She said start with what you love. So they started with music. Like, let's go to the thing that we're most passionate about. Love that. We're gonna go in order? Come on.
I hit the ground running each night. I hit the Sunday matinee. You know the greatest films of all time were never made. In my defense, I have none, for never leaving well enough alone. But it would have been fun if you would have been the one.
I love. She sounds just like the track too. It matches the whole vibe of the aesthetic, like the cabin and everything and the pond.
I have this dream you're doing cool shit, having adventures on your own. It would have been you. In my defense, I have none, but never leaving well enough alone. Ooh.
It's so crazy how like this is their first time coming together and like experiencing these songs together in person, and all that just came together like so easily. You see how they were like each on like different instruments, each doing their own thing, spread out across the room, but it all synchronized together so well.
Opening the album with the words, "I'm doing good, I'm on some new shit," and saying yes instead of no, it applies to the situation that the song is written about, where, you know, you're updating a former lover on what your life is like now and trying to be positive about it. I'm just gonna say yes to stuff.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
I'd say it worked out.
Vintage tea, brand new phone, high heels on, cobblestone.
This is my song.
When you are young, they assume you know nothing.
I love her low register, oh my god.
I knew you dancing in your Levi's, drunk under a street light. You put me on and said I was your favorite. These two girls lose the one. When
The
you
one.
are young, they assume you know nothing.
It's so soft, it's so slow, it's so sad.
Knew you'd haunt all of my words.
Bridge is
The
superior.
smell of smoke would hang around this long, 'cause I knew everything when I was young. I knew you'd miss me once the thrill expired.
Come on, emotion.
I had been wanting to write a song about Rebecca Harkness, and I'd never figured out the right way to do it because
Yes.
there was never a track that felt like it could kind of hold an entire story.
You guys were telling me, because I was like, so when I first listened to that song, I was like, okay, who is she talking about? Like, is she talking about when she says, you know, like I was the girl who lived in like that house or whatever? I was like, is she talking about like inheriting like bad traits from her parents? Like, is the whole song symbolic of her? I was like, what the heck is exactly what it is? And you guys were telling me that the song is about the woman who lived in the house before her. And I love what she says, where she says, like, I felt like basically that's like a huge undertaking, is making a song that sort of encaptures someone's whole life and someone's whole story. You know, you definitely want to honor them and you want to tell it right, and you want to, like, you know, make sure that you are honoring them in a good way. So I love how she was like, I thought about it for a long time, but I just never felt like I could do it right until finally, like, one day I was like, I think I can actually write her story. I love how she turns it around in the end, because I was like, I just know that she's trying to somehow tie this to herself and like how she views herself and her own life story. So I just love that. Love the storytelling of it all.
Becca rode up on the afternoon train. It was sunny. There goes the last great American dynasty. Who knows if she never showed up, what could have been?
Cause it's just all her fault, right?
50 uses a long time. Holiday house sat quietly on that beach, free of women with madness, the men and bad habits, a minute
into it they are. She's like laughing and smiling, and Jack's over there, the drums, like so into it.
I wish our other two co-writers were here. Justin
Who?
Vernon and William Bowery. There's been a lot of discussion about William Bowery and his identity. It's not a real person.
It's not?
Jack, Exile was crazy because Joe had written that entire piano part, that dun 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 dun.
Me just not figuring out what's going on. Like me putting the pieces together, I'm like, who are we saying doesn't exist, but Jack doesn't know they don't exist, but then it was a joke, a prank. Who are we talking about?
We're really, really, really big Bon Iver fans, and you know,
So cool.
we know that Aaron knows him. But I was too afraid to suggest it. He wrote this amazing bridge. He wrote, so step right out, there is no amount, and like that whole bit. I kept thinking this isn't really going to happen. Like, Justin is going to change his mind about this.
The way the biggest artists in the world still get starstruck by other artists. Crazy. Oh my God, and I love the song and I love their voices together.
I can see you standing, honey, with his arms around your body.
Now where he come from? Sing, man.
And it took you 5 whole minutes to pack us up and leave me with it. You're not my homeland anymore, so what am I defending now? You are.
If this is just like his standard pocket where he standardly sings, what is his low register? What is the low? Is this his low? This has to be his low.
I can see you stare around, honey, like he's just your understudy, like you get your knuckles bloody for me.
There is no amount of crying I can do for
All this time,
we always walked a very thin line.
The child, you can't see
Didn't
them.
even hear me out.
I give so many signs,
So many signs, those step right out.
Jeez.
There is no amount I can do for
all this time.
Oh my
we
God.
always walked a very thin line.
Shut up. Shut up. I don't know nothing about technology. I don't know how they did that, but I had no idea I needed that in my life. My God. Oh, his outfit kind of
And
eats.
it's definitely, I think, one of the saddest songs on the album.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best songs you've written.
Somebody could be your best friend and your companion and your most trusted person in your life, and then they could go and become your worst enemy. The hero's greatest nemesis is the villain that used to be his best friend.
Yeah.
There's this beautiful moment in the beginning of a friendship where these people have no idea that one day they'll hate each other
Oh my
and
God.
try to really take each other out. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really sad and terrible.
But
That's so crazy. Because the people who are closest to you, they know how to hurt you the most. They know everything about you. And it hurts the most because you love them so bad.
Gather here, we line up, weeping in a sunlit room. Did I deserve, babe, all the hell you gave me?
I can't say this right
Have
now.
I loved you? And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? Cursing my name, wishing I stayed. Look at how my tears ricochet.
Oh, the look on her face.
You wear the same jewels that I gave you as you bury me. I didn't have it in myself to go with grace, and I can go anywhere I want, just not home. And you can aim for my heart, go for blood. Get all of my tears
Oh, I love Idiot. Look at all my tears.
turning into your tears.
Whew. I love that change. It like explains the song like in one line. My brain thinks that I'm cold because I've had goosebumps for like 5 straight minutes.
Sometimes when I'm writing to an instrumental track, I'll push play and I'll immediately see a scene set. And this was one of those cases where I just saw, lonely disco ball. We have mirror balls in the middle of a dance floor because they reflect light. They are broken a million times, and that's what makes them so shiny. We have people
Yes.
like that in society too. They hang there, and every time they break, it entertains us.
Yeah.
And everybody feels like they have to be on for certain people. You have to be different versions of yourself for different people, different versions at work,
Taylor,
different versions
shut
around
up.
friends, different. Found out all my shows were canceled. And it's like I'm still on that tightrope. I'm still trying everything to get you laughing at me. So
Yeah.
it's like I realize here I am writing all this music, still trying.
Yes.
And I know I have an excuse to sit back and not do something, but I'm not.
She just said so much. So freaking much. She said that she like instantly when she's writing a song, she can like imagine it, she can see it. I can tell that she experiences that because that's the way that she writes. She's like very descriptive in the way that she can paint a picture that you can tell that she actually sees it. The way that she just talked about like a mirror ball, the fact that like when you think about like a disco ball or something hanging, when the party's going on, everybody's like dancing around, everyone loves it, everyone loves the disco ball, everyone's dancing, the lights are flashing, everyone's having a good time. When the party's over, the club shuts down, everyone leaves, the lights are all off, the disco ball just hangs there. It literally just stays there. No one cares. It just sits there in the dark. And it isn't until everyone decides, oh, we want to party again, we want to have fun again and be entertained by this disco ball again, that like everything comes back. The thing too that she was saying about, you know, being in quarantine, it's like she could have relaxed and rest, but it's just like, I'm still trying everything to keep you looking at me. I am still on this tightrope doing everything that I can to keep you entertained, to keep you laughing, to continuously give you content. And then the thing that she was talking about, when she was talking about shape-shifting, I don't even want to get into it right now. You want me to be like really, really vulnerable with you guys? I like just went through a breakup like at 2 a.m. today. And it was so hard because I've been like depressed all day. And it was so hard to like sit here and gear up for this reaction. And then, you know, you guys love like my energy, which comes naturally to me. And it was like, how am I supposed to sit here and suppress what I feel and like be energetic? Because I don't want to rub off my negativity. People can feed off of energy. I don't want to rub off my negativity on the people who are watching me. I was actually, the entire time that I was getting ready, I was listening to I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Because that's literally what the song is about. I was listening to that song on a loop, trying to get myself prepared to do this. And then the moment that I like sit down, it just kind of comes on. It's not fake. Like, I genuinely do feel fine right now. Like, I've kind of put that out of my mind, except for when she starts singing these dang slow songs. But like, it kind of genuinely just like shifts. That's me being vulnerable with you guys for 2 seconds, but everything that she just said just related to me so much, and it just hit me so freaking hard.
I want you to know I'm a mirror ball. Hush, I know they said the end is near,
I love her little upper register.
but I'm still on my tallest tiptoes, shining just for you.
That breathy like high notes that she does.
And I'm still a believer, but I don't know why. I've never been a natural. All I do is try. I'm still on that trapeze. I'm still trying everything to keep you looking at me. I'm a mirror ball. I'll show you every version of yourself tonight.
When I see a kid throwing a massive tantrum in a grocery store, like part of me is like, man, I feel you. Like, when did I stop doing that when I was upset? Like, when did I stop being so outraged that I would throw myself on the floor and throw the cereal at my mom?
Well, it also doesn't stop.
He's
Were
picked
you
me
ever
before
able to
I
do
learned
that?
Civility. Like, I used to scream anytime I wanted.
I would've been on
Obviously,
the
you know,
floor.
we can't be throwing tantrums
Not due to
all
my
the
free
time,
will.
and we learned that that's not the right thing to do. But there's something lost there too.
Please picture me in
True.
the trees. I hit my peak
It's
at
like that
7 feet.
freedom of expression, I guess.
Sweet tea in the summer, cross your heart, won't tell no other. And though I can't recall your face, I still got love for you. The love lasts so long. was mad, and that must be why
Dang, girl.
sweet tea in the summer, cross your heart, won't tell no other.
Okay, so like Cardigan is Betty's perspective from like 20 to 30 years later, looking back on this love that was this tumultuous
20
thing.
to 30
in my head,
years.
I think Betty and James ended up together, right?
Interesting.
So in my head, she ends up with him, but he really put her through it. But like August was obviously about the girl that James had this summer with. She thought they had something very real.
It's very
And then he goes
realistic.
back to Betty.
Wow.
Salt air,
Such a real situation,
rust
too.
on your door. I never needed anything more. But I can see it's lost in the memory. August slipped away into a moment in time. Cause it was never mine.
Hey.
August slipped away like a bottle of wine. Cause you were never mine.
Bring it back. Woo-hoo. What?
Meet me behind the wall. So much for summer love. Saying us cause you weren't mine to lose. Remember when I pulled up and said get in the car and then cancel my plans just in
Hey.
case it all. Back when I was living for the hope of it all.
Song is such a vibe. How do you just invent a whole love triangle in the middle of your album?
I'd been thinking about addiction, and I'd been thinking about people who, if they're either suffering through mental illness or they're suffering through addiction or they have an everyday struggle. No one pats them on the back every day, but every day they are actively fighting something.
The idea of doing your best or trying is one that only a person knows. It's so hard, which is what I get from that song, when you're doing your damn best and it's not good enough.
Yeah, I had this idea that the first verse would be about someone who is in a sort of a life crisis and kind of has driven to this overlook, this cliff.
Yeah.
But this person backs up and drives home and
Yeah, I love that. The idea that not driving off the cliff is an act of trying.
Oh my God, it's so true. She thinks so deeply. That's how she gets all these deep introspective songs. Like, this is what she thinks about, and then she just makes them into songs.
I've been having a hard time adjusting. I had the shiniest wheels, now they're rusting. I didn't know if you'd care if I came back. And I'm here in your doorway, I just wanted you to
Yeah, they
know
turned around.
that this is me trying, pouring out my heart to a stranger. But I didn't pour the whiskey, I just wanted you to know that this is me trying.
I didn't
I
pour the
just
whiskey.
wanted you to know.
God, her songs hit hard, but it's something about when you have the actual context, it just hits like it's never hit before. Jack gets so into the instruments when he's playing, man. He's like, you look at him and he's like in another place, man.
there's so much more to writing songs than just what you're feeling in your singular storyline. I think that's been my favorite thing about this album is that it's allowed to exist on its own merit without it just being, oh, people are listening to this because it tells them something that they could read in a tabloid.
Oh, I love that. The first time not just like writing about me and my story, writing about other people's
Make
stories.
sure nobody sees you leave. Hood over your head, keep your eyes down. And that's the thing about illicit affairs and clandestine meetings and longing stares. It's born from just one single glance. Leave the perfume on the shelf that you picked out just for him, so you leave no trace behind, like you don't even exist.
Don't even exist.
And you wanna scream, don't call me kid, don't call me baby. Look at this godforsaken mess that you made me. You showed me colors you know I can't see with anyone else. And you know damn well, for you I would ruin myself a million little times.
It It's so crazy. It's one thing to like think that deeply about stuff, because there are some people who don't. Like, there are some people who don't really think deeply about things. Life just kind of is what it is. It's one thing to like think so deeply and think about such deep concepts, and like another thing to be able to transform it into a song that makes sense and isn't just like corny, like actually makes sense, but still to the point where like it's not super on the nose, like it's not super obvious. She doesn't come right out and say what she's trying to say. You have to like still interpret it still.
I kind of love the romantic idea that every step you're taking one step closer to where you're supposed to be, you know, guided by this little like invisible string. I remembered I wrote it right after I sent an ex a baby gift. Like, and I was just like, man, life is great. And I just remembered thinking like, this is a full signifier that life is great.
Yes. When you can like get over something painful
Green was the color of the grass where I used to read in Centennial
and find
Park.
joy.
Isn't it just so pretty to think all along there was some invisible string tying you to me?
I love that part, that delivery there.
Time, mystical time, cutting me open, then healing me fine. With it clues I didn't see. Something wrapped all up my past mistakes in barbed wire.
Pulled you out the negativity to what was
Chains
meant for
around
you.
my demons, wool to break the seasons. One single thread of gold tied me to you. Oh, yeah.
Sing, girl. Mad Woman.
Mad Woman, the first time I heard that piano thing you had written, I just felt like it's got these sort of ominous strings underneath it, and I was like, oh, this is female rage. Like, this is a song about female rage. It has to be. Like, I have to figure out how to make this about female rage. Oftentimes when we, in our enlightened state and our emboldened state now, respond to bad male behavior or somebody just doing something that was absolutely out of line, and we respond, that response is treated like the offense itself.
Yes.
Oh, I have absolutely no right to respond, or I'm crazy.
And you get a whole song out of it. It's so crazy.
What did you think I'd say to that? Just a scorpion sting and fighting back.
Love the little
They
register in this.
strive to kill, and you know I will. Every time you call me crazy, I get more crazy. What about that? And when you say you seem angry, I get more angry. Going like some mad woman.
But you made her like that.
And there's nothing like a mad
That's the best part.
woman.
Please.
They say, move on, but you know I won't. And women like hunting witches too. Good wives always know. She should be mad, should be scathing like me, but no one likes a mad woman.
Yup.
What a shame she went by.
Should be scathing like me, but no one likes a mad woman. So you gotta suppress your own emotions because you don't want to look mad.
I'd been doing a lot of research on my grandfather who fought in World War II at Guadalcanal, which was an extremely bloody battle. And you know, he never talked about it. You know, my granddad was exposed to some of the worst situations you could ever imagine as a human being. Imagine what would happen in order to make you just never be able to speak about something. There are people right now, you know, taking a 20-minute break in between shifts at a hospital.
The way you weave that together, where there's remembrance and bearing witness to your family's history, but then recognition of who the heroes are today. So moving.
This lockdown could have been a time where I absolutely lost my mind. And instead, I think, you know, this album was like a real flotation device for both of us.
That's like so deep and so beautiful. I think it goes back to like her talking about the challenge of writing outside of herself for the first time, writing about other people's stories, like writing about your grandpa's story, like a story that he felt that he could never tell, and you now being the voice for that, and then also giving it to other people who are going through that today, like in modern times, giving them something to feel, you know, and like giving them something to like sit and listen to and be like, oh my God, this is what I feel right now, and like I can't speak about this, like this is so traumatic, this is so like something that we should never experience. And that's so crazy that she took the time to like write that. And I just think that it's just so beautiful, you know, about writing about something that's just so much bigger than you, and writing for other people for the purpose of like relieving other people.
Keep your helmet, keep your life, son, just a flesh wound. With you I serve, with you I fall down, down. Hold your hand through plastic now.
Just the goosebumps.
Doc, I think she's crashing out, and some things you just can't speak about. Just one single glimpse of relief to make some sense of what you see.
To make some sense of what you've seen. That's all the time that you get to like reflect, to like rest, to recover from what you just witnessed. Now this is my song.
One of my favorite
Y'all
things
know.
about this record is the fact that there's this trilogy of three, the trinity of Betty, August, and Cardigan
Yes.
are all like, we made August together, we made Cardigan together, we all three
It's perfect.
made Betty, and I really like that it seems to be an apology. And I've written so many songs from a female's perspective of wanting a male apology that we decided to make it from a teenage boy's perspective, apologizing after he loses the love of his life because he's been foolish.
Allegedly.
No, he's been foolish.
According to the
Allegedly.
internet.
Fool. He's a
He's
fool.
been foolish. No alleged. Listen, we're not going to go through this again because I've already yelled at James multiple times. I think once on YouTube, and then I gave you guys like a full entire rant on Patreon that was very long and very lengthy. And we don't need to go through that again. However, there is no alleged. He was foolish. You are not 17 and don't know right from wrong. You are not 17 and don't know right from wrong. We're not going through this again because I've already said it. If you want to see my whole rant, it's on my Patreon. You're 1 year from being an adult. You're about to vote. You can drive. You are not too stupid. Okay. We don't need to do that again. No excuses. None.
Betty, I
17.
won't make assumptions about why you switched your homeroom, but I think it's 'cause of me.
I'm singing this one. I'm sorry.
You heard the rumors from me, Neds. You can't believe a word she says most times, but this time it was true. I just showed up at your party. Would you have me? Would you want me? Would you tell me to go myself or lead me to the garden? I'm only 17. I don't know anything, but I know I miss you.
I see them trying to make it soft.
I was nowhere to be found. I hate the crowds, you know that. Plus I saw you dance with him. Those days turned into nights. Slept next to her, but I dreamt of you
That
all
part
summer long.
All summer long. All summer long. Not one night. All summer long, James. You didn't know right from wrong the entire summer?
Will you kiss me on the porch in front of all your stupid friends?
And he calls her friend
Will you kiss
stupid.
me? Will it
Her
be
friends are
just
dumb.
like I dreamed it?
When you sent me this instrumental, the first word that I thought of was this is what peace sounds like. Maybe you just start with the obvious and think about how that could be told in an interesting way that kind of goes against the title. Like,
Oh, wow.
I could never give you peace over the most peaceful
Wow.
sounding instrumental track.
I love
Yeah.
that.
If you're going to be in my life, I feel like there's a certain amount that comes with it that I can't stop from happening. This song was basically like, is it enough? Is the stuff that I can control enough? And reconciling the fact that you might not be their best option for that, but is it still a deal they want to take?
Yeah.
That's so crazy because I think initially I always just kind of thought about it from like a relationship point of view, but also, yeah, when you're a celebrity and you have people in your life who have to hear these, you know, nasty, mean things about you all the time, or people in your life who sometimes might like get harassed by like paparazzi and things like that, or who their own personal life could like come out just because they're associated with you, and just being like, can you handle all of this? Like having me in your life, like, am I enough? Is my presence enough? Is how much you love me enough for you to be able to put up with the rest of this stuff?
A coming of age is come and gone. Suddenly this summer it's clear I never had the courage of my convictions, and it's just around the corner, darling, 'cause it lives in me. I would die for you in secret. The devil's in the details, but you got a friend in me. Would it be enough if I can never give you peace? Would it be enough if I can never give you peace?
Say,
Would it be enough if I can never give you peace?
love how she always writes from a very interesting perspective, taking a song that sounded peaceful and making the lyrics about the opposite, something that's not peaceful.
Okay, the word hoax is another word that I love, because I love that it has an X, and I love the way that it looks, and I love the way it sounds. I think with this song being the last song on the album, it kind of embodied all the things that this album was thematically. What if not all of these feelings are about the same person? What if I'm writing about several different, very fractured situations? I definitely had the moment of doubt. I had the moment of like, I don't usually do this. I usually know exactly what I'm writing about. And I was really happy when you kind of pushed me forward, like, nope, do the thing that makes you uncomfortable.
My only
Such a beautiful song.
My smoking gun, my eclipsed sun, this has broken me down.
Sorry, and he's right, like you gotta, when something is making you like super uncomfortable, that's why you know that you gotta do it, and you know that you gotta write about it, because if it's making you so uncomfortable, like there's something within you that really has something to say. That thing, what is that thing that's inside of you that's trying to run away from talking or singing about this thing?
Stood on the cliffside screaming, give me a reason. Your faithless love's the only hoax I believe in. No other sadness in the world would do.
The song is so
But
sad.
this laid plan, you knew you won, so what's the point of keeping score? You know it still hurts underneath my scars from when they pulled me apart, but what you did was just a start.
That line?
My broken drum, you have beaten my heart.
Oof.
Don't
Bass
know
too.
other shade of blue but you.
Oh, this track! The Lakes.
I think The Lakes sort of sounds like a testament of what I wanted
I
to
love The
escape from
Lakes.
and where I saw myself escaping. In the 19th century, you had a lot of poets like William Wordsworth and John Keats would spend a lot of time there, and there was a poet district, these artists that moved there. Always in my career, since I was probably about 20, written about this sort of cottage backup plan that I have.
You've been writing about that forever.
I've been writing about that forever.
You've been writing about getting out forever.
Yeah, so The Lakes is
I
really
hate it
talking
here.
a lot about, and that's really the overarching thing that I felt when I was writing Folklore is I may not be able to go to the lakes right now or to go anywhere, but I'm going there in my head.
I found something worth escaping with.
And a person to escape
And a person,
with.
and to me that's a huge, sincere statement of hope.
It kind of is the overarching theme of the whole album, of trying to escape, having something you want to protect, trying to protect your own sanity, and saying, look, they did this hundreds of years ago.
hate it here, so I will go to see. That's so true, though, especially during the pandemic.
Is it romantic how all my elegies eulogize me? Take me to the lakes where all the poets went to die. I don't belong, and my beloved, neither do you. I'm setting up, but not without my muse. I've come too far to watch some name-dropping sleaze. Tell me, what are my words worth? I want to watch wisteria grow right over my bare feet, 'cause I haven't moved in years. Those Windermere peaks look like a perfect place to cry. I'm setting up, but not without my muse. No, not without you.
How to do it. Whiskey.
This way to the whiskey.
I thought we didn't pour the whiskey.
I think it's called Kitty Committee Studios on the album.
It works.
It does, because I've got cats fighting in the background.
There was a
On
big
the
cat
bed.
vibe, yeah, and then
Be able to be free-range cats.
yes,
Yeah, cage-free.
Guys, stop it.
it's just a very cool way to have made an album.
Yeah, it really is.
Guys, we have reached the end of the Folklore Long Pond studio sessions. It was so cool being able to hear all of that context about like the different songs, but also just about like how the album was created in general. Because I knew that this was created during like the pandemic, but I for some reason just never thought of the fact that she would, you know, have to create like a studio in her own home, and how like the pandemic itself tied so much into the ideas that went into the album, how that just motivated her during this time, because she felt like, you know, people needed something to kind of cry to, epiphany, people needed something to relate to, you know, and the way that she was able to tell these stories, and not just the fictional stories like, you know, the love triangle, which is just so unique and so interesting, but also other people's stories, like real people, a story that they just never got to tell, and her just releasing it to like millions of people to listen to and to be able to relate to, and just to be able to have compassion for that. She just thinks so deeply. I think that this is the first time, obviously I've seen like little clips of her online, so I think I've seen like little clips of her talking and stuff, but I've never heard her like sit down and talk like this, and just to hear how deeply she thinks about things. She's just like, you know, when she was talking about This Is Me Trying, just being like, yeah, I've been thinking a lot lately about how like people who are, you know, addicts, like all the things that they go through on a day-to-day basis, not getting like patted on the back. I'm just like, yeah, like, yeah, actually. And, you know, I think I probably have thought about that before, but just like the way that she puts it into words, I love how deeply she thinks about things, how she internalizes things, how she analyzes things, and then she's able to make these songs about them. And like I said, just these deep, intricate songs. She's so smart for that. She's so unique. She's not the only one, but she is one of those artists that does that the absolute best. And I just think that it's so beautiful just to be able to hear the story behind this, to hear what it meant to her. It's so crazy that they just like came together. They made the project, and the way that they like were separated the entire time that it was being made, it was so representative of who she is, but also who they are as well. Like you hear them talking, you know, like Aaron and Jack talking about how it related to them as well, and the way that they've also thought about these things. And it was just so representative of like all three of them and their artistry and their ideas. I just think that was just, it was just so cool to see, so cool to experience. So thank you guys for being here to experience this with me. Is this your first time seeing it? Let me know down in the comments. Or have you seen this before? Have you seen it a million times? It was so cool to get into, so thank you guys for recommending this to me. Like I said, look out for the poll that is coming up very soon on what our next Taylor Swift album is going to be, because we're going to be reacting to it this month. So stick around obviously for that, because we're going to want to experience more Taylor Swift together now that we have more time. Because like I said, these artists have stopped releasing back to back to back. We actually have much more time to really dive into her now. Thank you guys so much for being here to experience this with me, and I will see you guys later. Love